You're watching Sports Central on CBS 2, sponsored by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa.
And hello again, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Sports Central Saturday. I'm Jim Hill with my partner, former USC Trojans running back Stafon Johnson. What we just saw was absolutely incredible, Stafon, with Georgia really taking care of Tennessee 27-13.
Yeah, that was a great game by Georgia. I think that they kind of showing everybody and proving everybody who's really the #1 team in the country.
And when you think about it, we talk about Hendon Hooker did not come through for the Volunteers today, like many people thought that he would.
I mean, a couple of weeks ago, that was my #1 guy as far as the Heisman race was concerned. And Georgia's defense played lights out today. You know, they had no chance of no opening, no room for anything for them to do anything, and they had a lot of stunts, and they had a great scheme coming in.
And when you talk about Georgia winning, it was a total team effort, and their coach was pretty happy when it was over.
Oh yeah, Coach Kirby Smart, man.
Yeah.
He's been around for a long time. You know, being up under Coach Saban and having these victories and these championships up under his belt, definitely knows how to let them play the football game and get these wins in these type of football games.
And of course, I know that you've been in a lot of big games that were decided on very, very small things, but in this one, Georgia just dominated from the beginning.
I mean, well, you went between them hedges, you know, and them dogs came in there and made sure that they took care of business and made sure that they didn't spoil their home-cooked meal.
And they were playing like they really had a chip on their shoulder, and they had something to prove.
Yeah, they didn't like the fact that they was the #1 team in the country, that they was really behind, and now they was #3. So they kind of felt like the underdogs, and they kind of knew that they needed to take care of business to get that back in their possession.
Were you ever in a position like that when you were over at SC?
Yeah, like that. We spoke about it before. I mean, a lot of heartbreakers, but like I said, Georgia took care of everything when they was at home and was able to put Tennessee in its place.
Yeah, we say LA is the sports capital of the world, my friends.
Oh yeah.
Here's another reason why. You better believe it, because now to some soccer, and there was a lot of fun this afternoon. They've only been in Major League Soccer team some 5 seasons, but LAFC's first chance at a title right in front of the team that they moved through for years and years in the playoffs to reach to today's MLS Cup. Well, they hosted Philadelphia Union at Bank of California Stadium, and it was really good. Look at this. What an occasion for the black and gold and their rabid fans. No score in the 26th minute now. Chico Arango on the run gets taken down, and that's a free kick for LAFC in an ideal spot. So all eyes right now on Carlos Vela, who appears ready to take it, but instead, Kellen Acosta, and his shot goes off the head of Philadelphia's Jack McGlynn, and it's 1-0 LAFC. Really should have been an on goal, as Andre Blake really appeared to be in perfect position to make the save, but the black and gold will absolutely take it, that's for sure. Now in the 59th minute, still 1-0. LAFC Jose Martinez takes a shot from distance, and it goes right to Daniel Gastog, and he scores to even the game at 1. LAFC's defense completely asleep on that one, and now we've got a new game. 83rd minute now. It's Vela over a corner kick, and he delivers it right to the head of Jesus Murillo. The big defender puts it home, and the LAFC retakes the lead now at 2-1. But in the 85th minute, Kai Wagner sends a free kick into the box. Jack Elliott is alone, and he heads it into the box, into the back of the net. Match is all tied at 2, and what a game we have at Bank of California Stadium. So now we go into extra time, and then 110th minute, Rio takes a very bad touch on the ball. Corey Burke gets to the ball for the Union, and Max Cripion comes up and fouls Burke. He gets a red card for that, and he suffers a terrible injury to his leg. Really had to be taken off the field, and LAFC is down to just 10 men. Now in the 4th minute of time added on, Philadelphia pressing for the go-ahead goal. They play it into the box. Backup keeper John McCarthy makes an incredible save, but Elliott is there to knock in the rebound. LAFC is down 3-2. But with 9 minutes left of stoppage time, LAFC still had a chance, and Diego Palacios down the left crosses it to Gareth Bale for the Weissman, and look at this. He comes off the bench and to rescue the team. Absolutely incredible. Match is just absolutely going into penalty kicks. And McCarthy came up huge. He stopped not 1 but 2 penalty kicks from Martinez, and then Wagner's incredible stuff from behind the neck, and he was the backup keeper. So with LAFC up now 2-0, they have the chance to really win it. And it's Ilya Sanchez, and he makes no mistake about it, putting it into the corner, and LAFC will celebrate their first MLS Cup title in front of 32-52. What a match at Bank of California Stadium, that is for sure. So LAFC adds their name to the list in this city of champions with their MLS Cup victory today. They joined the Rams winning the Super Bowl last season, and of course, both the Dodgers and the Lakers winning their titles in 2020. Those titles are among so many for our local teams in this city throughout the years as LAFC adds their name to the city of champions. All right, Stafon, when we think about this, that was quite a game today at Banc of California Stadium between these two teams that knew each other so well going into today.
Yeah, it was electrifying. The stadium was rocking. Another party on Figueroa. Man, what other can be better than that? And for them to get getting that victory at this type of stage and getting into the penalty kicks and getting into these situations where the crowd needed them. We played with a backup keeper. So, him coming in and defeating those two blocks and block kicks was huge for us.
Whenever you have a championship game, you want the top two teams to be performing.
Absolutely.
And in soccer today, these were the top two teams, and they showed why.
They showed it. They showed, like I said, it had to be determined from the penalty kicks at the end, and it showed you all the preparation and the things that these teams had to possess in these championships.
What stood out to you the most about this incredible contest we saw today?
The fans. Yeah. The fans. I think that they were rocking out there. I think that having that behind your back when the chips are down and you're going through these real trying times, and having that little extra push helps out a lot.
That's why I say Los Angeles is indeed the sports capital of the world. That's a perfect example. All right, my friends, stay right where you are. So much more ahead for you on Sports Central as USC and UCLA get set for their games this evening. We will preview that and talk about the Trojans and the Bruins, plus all kinds of NFL football for you as the Chargers come off their bye week and head to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. And the Rams also in action tomorrow as they travel to Tampa to take on Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. We'll have a preview of that and a lot more for you when we come back right here on CBS 2.
Playing with Passion, sponsored by Pacifico.
Real Muto. Bouncing ball to third. Caught by Bregman. Throw across in time. The Astros have a World Series no-hitter. The second one in World Series history.
Sports Central is sponsored by Morongo Casino.
Welcome back, everybody. You want more? You're going to get it because our two local teams in action later this evening with both UCLA and USC hoping to really continue their impressive seasons. Here we go with that. The Trojans are ranked number 9 and are coming off a victory in Tucson against Arizona. Tonight at the Coliseum, they take on a Cal team that is 1-4 in Pac-12 competition, and USC is favored by over 3 touchdowns.
We got a special group of guys in every single position. And it just, it's awesome to see them go out there and be able to shine and do it in many different positions. And that's just a test to our coaches and these guys on this team.
You know what it takes and you know what you got to avoid. And one of the pitfalls of a lot of teams is, not staying focused on the moment at hand. We got to all play a little bit better. And there's going to be more challenges like that. We get to see it here in practice, and we'll need to do a better job coming up.
Now, as for the Bruins, well, Chip Kelly's squad has surprised many with their strong season so far. Coming into Saturday with a record of 7-1 and ranked 12th in the country. They'll try to keep things rolling this evening in Tempe as they battle Arizona State.
Consistency is everything. It's how you build success. And so I think, from all our away games to really every game in general this year, we've taken stuff from. And so, that's the one thing I love about this team. We're just continuing to build.
Getting better every week. And, I think that's something as this team we've also really taken to heart. And I think that's something that we've done a good job of, just finding any little detail, we think we did wrong in the game, any little thing on film, just correcting that. And I think that's taking us to the next level.
All right, my friends, the Pac-12's top team, Oregon, in action this afternoon at Colorado. Opening Ducks drive, Heisman candidate Bo Nix throws it to offensive lineman Josh Connerly for the score. Connerly with the touchdown on his birthday. Oregon is up now 7-0. Later in the first quarter, same score, and the Ducks bring out the trickery. Running back Bucky Irvin throws it to Bo Nix for an 18-yard touchdown. Stafon, Bo Nix adds a touchdown to reception to his Heisman campaign.
Bo Nix is really the number one person on the list right now. He's been playing some really good football the last couple of weeks, and he's showing it right now. Receiving touchdown.
All right, my friends, we're going to go to the third quarter now, and Oregon is on top by a score of 28-10. And I want you to watch Nix. He's going to run it in for a touchdown. He now has a passing, receiving, and rushing touchdown on the day. Oregon goes on to win this one 49-10 behind 5 total touchdowns from Bo Nix. Wow, what a performance. So Oregon remains atop the Pac-12, unbeaten in conference play. Both the Bruins and the Trojans right in the thick of things as each team has now just one loss, UCLA and USC, with 3 Pac-12 games remaining, including, of course, the crosstown rivalry, which will be later this month. All right, Stafon, USC is in a good spot right now as they get set to take on Cal later this evening. What do you think of their season so far?
For USC, I think that we're doing a great job. It's got to continue to win up front. I think that in the trenches is where we're lacking at, and if we continue to keep doing that and keep giving Caleb some time to keep throwing to these different receivers and these different weapons that we have, and be able to stop, make some stops on defense and alleviate all the big plays, I think we're in pretty good shape. You know.
Because I know you like it when SC plays with a chip on their shoulder and a little anger.
Absolutely, like what we seen earlier with Georgia. You know, them being the number 3 seed coming in and playing number 1 seed and having that chip on their shoulder, and we actually seeing that they had a sense of urgency to win that football game. Talk about a sense of urgency. Let's talk about the UCLA Bruins. They're also playing extremely well this year. What do you think of them? How they surprised you so far? It's just absolutely amazing what they're doing there. I think Chip Kelly is finally starting to get the swing of things. You're starting to see a lot of the mixture of the Dennis Dixon and Jonathan Stewart combination between DTR and Charbonnet. So I like what they're doing. You see the different personnel changes that Chip is doing, and he's starting to really get into his offensive groove. Because a lot of people, as you know, started to question, Chip's motivation, his techniques and things like that. But it seems like it was only a matter of time before, those techniques really took place. I think UCLA did a great job of entrusting his vision and what he wanted to bring to the table. I think this is the first time in a long time he was able to put together the things that he really wanted, the offense that he wanted, the personnel, the players that he wanted, and it's starting to show. NFL is kind of different from the recruiting standpoint, and then when he's at Oregon, when he left the departure there. So now he's back at UCLA, he's found a home, and they really believe in him. And those teams, USC and UCLA, are rolling, and now everyone is really starting to take some time now, but starting to point towards that last game. That's why I keep on big up UCLA. At the end of the day, they're an LA team, and I love what they're doing over there, but I would love to see the great football game between UCLA and USC at the end of the year. It's going to be a lot of fun watching them, that is for sure. All right, my friends, ahead on Sports Central, let's talk some pro football. The Chargers will be without their 2 top wide receivers tomorrow against the first-place Falcons. We will hear from one of the guys taking their place when we come back. And the Rams coming off a rough loss to the San Francisco 49ers last week as they try and rebound against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Stafon will tell us what he thinks about that matchup and the best matchup in college football today as CFP top-ranked Tennessee took on AP top-ranked Georgia. All that and more when we come back right here on CBS 2.
Play of the Day, sponsored by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa.
This is breathtaking! This is Allen Road at its best! I see you! Come on!
I ain't going nowhere you told me to go. I gotta have another direction. Hey! There's people upstairs!
Stop pushing me!
Not gonna do it. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, DoorDash! You gotta let them know. Hey!
Hey, that wasn't it. Hey, come. Hey,
Somebody's going to get teased a lot. Another episode of Chargers HQ premieres tonight on CBS 2 as the team visits Not Scary Farm, and Charger legend Jamal Williams gets inducted into the Chargers Hall of Fame. You can see it all, 6:30 tonight. Okay, the Chargers hoping for some fun on the field tomorrow as they travel to Atlanta to battle the Falcons. But the receiving corps is really damaged right now with some significant, and I mean some significant injuries. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams will both be out against the Falcons. Allen's hamstring is not right, and Williams has a high ankle sprain. DeAndre Carter was a late add to the injury list with his illness. He's questionable for tomorrow, so that puts the spotlight on the Chargers' backup receivers. And now Chris Hayre caught up with Joshua Palmer, who's expected to be a big target tomorrow for Justin Herbert.
All right, pleased to be joined by wide receiver Joshua Palmer as the Bolts get set to go to Atlanta. Joshua, listen, a lot of guys down, but still a big opportunity against the Falcons. What was the message this week of practice?
It's pretty much just an next man up mentality. I know it's cliche, but it's what it is. It's the norm. It's what we did in the fall camp whenever guys went down and we had guys who need to step up for a couple of practices. But you know, this group of guys, we take pride in the positions that we're in the position that we're in. So,
you know, with Keenan and Mike down, what have you learned over the last season and a half to kind of prepare you to be the wide receiver one on Sunday?
Well, they have done a great job preparing me. I feel them two and the receiving coach and OC and the head coach. You know, they've just been doing a great job with us, and especially with me, just sitting me down, coaching me, telling me the best thing to do in these situations. And you know, I feel like I've been preparing my entire life, really.
Yeah. And then finally, this offense, how important is it going to be, Joshua, to get off to a fast start, considering how the last 3 weeks have gone?
Very important. I feel like we've been doing a better job getting on the same page with Justin, getting on the same page with just the offense in general. And I feel like, you know, the faster we can get in rhythm, then the more dangerous we could be throughout the game. So I think that's one of the goals going in.
A win against the Falcons puts the Chargers right in the mix at 5-3 in the AFC.
Going to be a lot of fun, that's for sure. Lots of players down for the Chargers tomorrow in Atlanta, including their top two receivers, tight end Donald Parham Jr., and also out with a hamstring injury. And the Chargers had to bring in another kicker this week after practice squad kicker Taylor Bertolet really tweaked his quad this week. Really amazing what's happened to this team. The Chargers signed Cameron Dickler to handle the kicking duties in Atlanta come Sunday. All right, so with all these injuries that the Chargers are having right now, and you talk about the receivers and the tight ends, it's a huge opportunity for Joshua Palmer tomorrow.
Yeah, these are all titties injuries as well. You have hamstrings and ankles. These things take time. So this is a great opportunity for Palmer to come in and try to be more of the number one guy. He's been playing, you know, number two, number three in the slot here and there, but put him on stage and having, you know, 240 receiving yards this year, he has to be able to step up as well.
What's the best thing he does?
I think being able to stack different DBs, using size, using speed, and different phases of the football game, and able to be the receiver on the inside and being a receiver on the outside plays a huge part for him.
Here's another question for you. When you start having injuries, and the Chargers have had a lot of injuries, sometimes some of the teammates say, yeah, I hope it's not me that's next in line to get hurt.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, I think the big thing in the NFL is about availability. You know, you've got to be available to be able to be productive at any given stage of the football game. So they just got to get this injury bug fixed as much as possible, try to get some antidote for it.
And then the Chargers are hoping for more from their defense, you know, after they really got scorched by the Seattle Seahawks in their last game.
Absolutely. A lot of big names on the defensive side of the ball, a lot of people that they're expecting to make different big plays on the defensive side of the ball to make it easier for Herbert. But, you know, they've been down a little bit. You know, a couple of injuries that they had a little early on. But got to find a way to try to muster up some kind of stops and try to get this offense going on the other side of football.
Yeah, you talk about a lot of big names, and sometimes when someone has a big name, they think that when they go on the field, their reputation can get them by, but that's not the case.
Oh, no. Ask the Vols. Ask Tennessee. You know, when you have that target on your back, you got to always be prepared to get the best of any kind of opponent.
It's going to be a lot of fun watching to see how they come back and get back into the win column, that's for sure. Now for the Rams, as the Super Bowl champions hope to really kickstart their season tomorrow in Tampa Bay. They have yet to play like a championship contender coming into week number 9 after losing a record. Their losing record is 3-4. Last week, it was a loss to the 49ers as they allowed a 14-7 lead to turn into a 31-14 loss. Now they travel to Tampa Bay for a matchup between the last two Super Bowl champions and where the Rams haven't really lost since 2010. Not a bad place to get back to their winning ways.
Technically, it's a long season. We got, 10 games, 10, 11 games left, whatever the case may be, but I want to win every game. Like, I don't want to keep waiting and saying, oh, we got time. Like, that ain't what I'm on. I don't like that. Like, I ain't never at, 50%. Like, I'm always at 100. Like, that's how I always feel. So I hope, I hope I'm able to lead the other guys to feel that same way.
There's so much football left. There's 10 games left. There's a lot can be said in 10 games. I think the mentality is just, all the games that's happened, you can't change those games. What you can do is with the game you have in front of you. And so focus on that game and then try to rattle off some wins.
One of the things that's kind of disturbing, it's kind of like an excuse. when a player says, we'll be okay because there's so much more football left to play?
I think when you love your team and you see the hard work that you guys put in on the off season and the week by week and the film work and all these different things, that got to be the mindset of what you feel, especially in the middle of the season. He was just saying now it'll be 10, 11 more games moving forward. You got to have that mindset, that it's going to turn and you're going to get things right and, get people back on the field and things will start turning. But you got to get some wins coming up.
And the running game is one of the facets of this ball club that needs to get going in a hurry, because up to now it's been kind of shaky at best.
Yeah, once again, the trenches is really the focal point of big football teams like the Rams. The Rams are more explosive when the running game was at its best. And the play action game, to get the feed off of that, and then Stafford get to use his big arm ability to make these big plays down the field. So once they get that going, it's going to be trying to trouble. We love the Rams, but it's going to be tough. They got to get these trenches right.
And they've had some off the field issues that they've had to deal with players and coaches. Some philosophical differences as well.
Absolutely. I think that we are competitive. And being in this competitive state, and a lot of things happen. But at the end of the day, I think Akers, as a professional, is going to go in and try to figure out what's best for him to fit for this football team to finish out this year.
And overall consistency from every aspect of the game, offense, defense, special teams, that's what they really need. And they're finding out, wearing the crown of a Super Bowl champion can be pretty dangerous sometimes and really heavy.
Absolutely. I think Ramsey said it the best when he said that using the defense to kind of to light that fire up under everybody else, to start playing the special teams better, offense better, and then that's where you can become a full compact team.
Okay, let's talk just a little bit about quarterback Matthew Stafford. He's thrown 8 interceptions, man.
Yeah.
8 already this year.
Rough.
I mean, he knows he is not performing well. His teammates know he's not performing well. Mm-hmm. You go through these slumps, but sometimes when you get into a slump like he is, it gets worse a long time before it gets better.
Absolutely. I think that, this is the offensive coordinator's nightmare. When you can't run the ball and kind of dictate some of the schemes and different things that these defenses are going to throw at you, it becomes hard, So they're sitting in this zone and they're waiting for you to throw them the ball because they know that your offensive running game is not efficient enough.
So it is the Rams, the defending Super Bowl champions, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That will be tomorrow on CBS 2 with kickoff set for 1:25 live from Tampa Bay. And it's a doubleheader, beginning with the Jaguars hosting the Raiders at 10 o'clock in the morning. And, of course, Sports Central follows the football right here on CBS 2. All right, everybody, stay right where you are. Lots more college football ahead as we head to Georgia for the top game of the day with the top ranking in the country on the line as Tennessee took on Georgia. And 1-7 Northwestern giving number 2 Ohio State trouble today. The Buckeyes actually trailed in this one. We'll show you how it all ended when Sports Central continues right here on CBS 2. And welcome back, everybody. Number 2 Ohio State at Northwestern. Wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour during this pregame. The Buckeyes kicker Noah Ruggles kicked it into the wind, but the ball was brought right back down. Nothing you can do but just laugh about that. And trouble really loomed for the Buckeyes early on. Evan Hull makes his way from 16 yards out for the score. Wildcats lead at 7-0, the largest deficit for Ohio State this season. 3 minutes to go before halftime. Buckeyes finally see the light. Emeka Ubeke runs and spins his way into the end zone. Stafon, that's a thing of beauty.
Oh, man, great job of the offense offensive coordinator getting creative with the fly sweep and was able to get a touchdown.
Now, the game was tied in the third, and Young Williams gets loose and powers his way in. 27 yards for the score. He finished with 2 touchdowns. Ohio State has scored 20-plus points in 70 straight games, a new FBS record. Buckeyes win it by a score of 21-7. You want more? How about the 8-0 TCU Horned Frogs hosting 4-4 Texas Tech? Red Raiders down 13-10 in the third quarter. Tyler Shugg throws a deep ball to J.J. Sparkman, who makes a spectacular grab for the 33-yard touchdown. Texas Tech is up now 17-13. Fourth quarter, same score. Kendrick Miller fights hard for a 2-yard touchdown, and TCU regains the lead at 20-17. Miller has scored in every game so far this season. 11 minutes remaining now, and Max Dugan finds Durius Davis for the 23-yard touchdown. Stafon, TCU trailed in the second half, but they fought back hard.
That's what good teams do. Find the adjustment, see what they did wrong, and then make that adjustment and pay in the second half.
And TCU remains undefeated as they go on to win this one by a score of 34-24. You know, not many people expected Tennessee to be the #1 team in the country in November. Remember, they were not even ranked in the top 25 preseason polls. But the Volunteers are now undefeated and have an NC2A best 5 wins against top 25 teams, including a victory over Alabama. Of course, the Georgia Bulldogs are also playing fantastic this season with their own undefeated record and a shot at the national championship. Today, these two powerhouses faced off with the #1 ranking on the line. That is for sure. Look at this, 93,000 people packed Sanford Stadium, I should say, on one of the biggest matchups of the year. The Bulldogs trailing 3-0 in the first quarter, facing 3rd and 10 inside the Tennessee 20. Stetson Bennett decides to keep it, beats the defense diving in by the pylon for the touchdown. Georgia's up 7-3. Ensuing Tennessee drive, the Volunteers inside their own 10, and Heisman hopeful Hendon Hooker is sacked by Jalen Carter for the loss. He loses the ball right there. Tennessee would recover, and what they thought was going to be a safety was ruled down by the referee, Stafon.
Yeah, man, that was a big play for them right there. And I think that, like I said, the defense played a remarkable ball this year.
2 plays later, the Bulldogs looking to capitalize. Bennett drops back and finds Ladd McConkey deep 37-yard touchdown. Bulldogs take the lead at 14-3, and they were not done because in the second quarter, Georgia knocking on the door again. Bennett drops back and hits a Marcus Rosemary Jack Saint, I should say, in the back of the end zone. He gets a foot down for the score. Georgia would go into the locker room at halftime up 24-6. To the fourth quarter we go now. The Volunteers are down 27-6 at the Georgia 5. Jalen Wright takes the handoff right up the middle for the touchdown. Volunteers are down 27-13. Ensuing drive, Tennessee looking for a last-minute comeback on 4th and 3. Hooker is brought down in the backfield, and that will do it as Georgia takes down Tennessee in a top 3 matchup, winning it 27-13.
A bunch of kids that love this place. We took 0 out of the portal. They all love it here. They compete their ass off, and these fans are elite. I'm so proud for this university and these kids. They practiced their butt off for 2 weeks. They played together. They stuck to the plan. And when you stick to the plan, you got a hell of a chance. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. That was our theme. We told them we wanted to play them right here in our box.
We felt like we were the reigning ones. You got to come and see us on our field. And I think we played like it. We attacked this week. It was pretty sweet.
Oh, yeah, you like that saying, nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. Stetson Bennett coming through for Georgia today in their big victory over Tennessee, which was absolutely incredible.
Oh, yeah, man. Like I said, I love the fact that they came out and took care of business. Even when the chips were down and they had everybody's plan that's going to go against them, they came out and played great football, lights out. Stetson Bennett had a heck of a game this game, and Coach Smart had a beautiful game plan for him.
And when you talk about, going against Coach Smart, he is very smart, so you better be on your toes when you go against a team that he coaches.
Absolutely. Like I said, doubling back from the system that he's been in with Nick Saban there at Alabama, and understanding that and taking his own philosophy and his own niche and bringing it to the Georgia Bulldogs, where he can went back home as well to take over that football team, and it shows. He has his hand written all over that football team.
And in your time with the Trojans, I'd love for you to talk about a coach that you knew and that you really liked, that had his hands on every aspect of the game.
Oh, man, everybody know that the Silver Fox, man, Coach Carroll did a wonderful job of putting us all together and showing us how to compete and how to win each day. And so that's where when we came down to Saturday, it was like second nature for us,
And you got a lot of wins.
Got a lot of wins.
A lot of wins, that's for sure. All right, my friend, stay right where you are, because still to come on this Saturday, Mark Langell knows more about the Dodgers than anyone. He's the team historian, and we catch up with him as he tells us his own personal favorite memories of his 50 years rooting for the boys in blue. Also, more from Bank of California Stadium as LAFC brings another championship back to the city of Los Angeles. All that and more when we come back right here on CBS 2. And welcome back, everybody. Now, if you need to know anything, and I mean anything about Dodgers history, and I've said it, we mean it again, anything, just go to their team historian, Mark Langell. How about this? He has his own storied history with the team. And when you think about it, too, from his first game in left field, those bleachers that were sitting out there, that was as a kid. That was back in 1972. His meeting for the very first time with Vin Scully and his favorite players and games. It's all magical. He takes out Joe Pena Lopez now through his favorite Dodger moments.
Boys in Blue, sponsored by Capozio Buick GMC.
Here at Dodger Stadium in your home away from home, Mark Langell, the team historian. It's been 50 years since you became a fan to working with the team. Your thoughts on these last 5 decades and what it's meant to you to be a Dodger fan and part of this organization?
Well, it just feels like home because 7 years old, I go to my very first game. My idea of tracing my roots is knowing the location of my very first game in 1972. Field level, 44, M1, and just over the years I've been able to enjoy the Dodger baseball and all the experience as a fan, as a journalist, sports writer from Pasadena Star-News, member of the front office since 1994, and then the greatest job in the world since 2002, team historian.
And of course, when you walk through this stadium, particularly the left field pavilion where your love affair with the Dodgers started, what does that feel like now, 50 years later?
It never changes because sometimes you'll think about something relating to the current team, sometimes you'll have a flashback, depending on what type of year it is too, because you can get flashbacks about the postseason. I can think about maybe my first World Series game, 1977. I'm so excited.
Oh, it's a summer day in Southern California, 81 degrees, looking down on Dodger Stadium.
But then I'm frustrated for 9 innings because the Dodgers lose 4-2 to the Yankees. So instead of tying the series at 2 games apiece, they're now down 3 games to 1.
Gone!
I have spent so much time here, and it's just kind of like this time warp going in and out. Yeah, right now it's the year 2022, but then you can also look and suddenly it's 1974, but it's all still the same ballpark, but it's been wonderfully improved, and there it is right there. There's the Hank Aaron. That was in my room for maybe 40 years as far as May of 1974. They gave away a Hank Aaron poster, and right next to it is the plaque. I was always fascinated by the plaque because they thought so much of him as an opponent that plaque was put up in the left field pavilion because they really, I mean, think about it. An opposing player who sets the all-time home run record.
You have given me young at heart.
As we enter the Vince Scully press box, what was your first time meeting him like?
First time ever, I had just graduated from South Pasadena High School. I'm working as a clerk at Pasadena Star-News. Matt McHale, the Dodger beat writer, takes me here to Shadow to see what a day in the press box is like. Would you believe that it was the only day ever that it was rained out in August? But I'm there until 10 o'clock at night meeting everybody, and there he was, the great Oz, and it was just, you just can't put into words what it was like, and it was just the first of so many wonderful encounters with Vinny.
This is your scrapbook, your penmanship right here that you started in 1973?
Yeah, this is 3rd grade, and it's amazing when I look at it because I go back and see the childhood, and it surprises me that at 3rd grade, look at this, I'm cutting out pictures of Brooklyn Dodgers. I'm not just following the 1973 team. Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig, selling Gillette, and just all these type things just drew me in as far as this was the most important thing to me because you could see the uniform numbers and who exactly was on the roster, and then you would score the game. So you always want to get a program, and because you could study it, and that was the fun thing for me. Even though it may be 45, 50 years, you still remember it like it was yesterday.
Absolutely incredible, and we thank him for that. Ahead on Sports Central, who's the best horse in America? Well, we're going to head to Keeneland in Kentucky for horse racing's championship event. It's called the Breeders' Cup Classic. We'll have that for you. And a local girls soccer team is one of the best in the country and really creating some great momentum and goodwill in the community. We have the fabulous story of the Cerritos United Blue coming up next. And welcome back, everybody. How about some horse racing, right? The Longines Breeder Cup Classic at Keeneland. The race course is in Kentucky. Flightline, who is based at Santa Anita, went off as the heavy 2-5 favorite at the top of the stretch. Life Good is really held narrow lead, but inside as they turn for home, watch what happens.
Flightline has gone right by Life is Good and comes into the final furlong with a 3-length lead. Life is Good trying to cling to second. Tabor's third, down to the 16th pole. It is Flightline. It is mind-tingling, jaw-dropping, awe-inspiring, Secretariat-like Breeders' Cup Classic win.
No doubt about that one. Flightline absolutely dominated the Classic, winning by over 8 lengths. He runs his record to a perfect 6-0. Meanwhile, the Cerritos United Blue Girls soccer team has won the hearts of the community, from the city council to restaurants who helped send them to the tournament in Boise, Idaho. Before that, though, they won the California South National Cup despite lacking some of the resources that other clubs have. Players drive from other cities just to play in this very special team, and the future for them looks really, really bright. Here's our Joe Painter-Lopez now, who caught up with the team at a recent practice.
It was a great win. This group of girls really came together. They're a hardworking group, and they dealt with a lot of adversity this year. We ended up winning the tournament with a large number of players injured. Went and played with 12 players, leaving just one sub. And throughout the way, they just fought. That's how I'd explain this team. They're a bunch of overcomers. On paper, it would look like they're not going to be as successful as they are, but they come out, and teams that are ranked higher, they just come out and kind of give it to them.
Honestly, we could play together. We don't have to be friends on the field, but honestly, this team has provided me a family for off the field. I think the more lessons I've learned is we're all just a small community. Even the people in Cerritos have helped me learn, and they're always there to help me out as well.
You guys don't have a lot of bells and whistles and sometimes practice on a dirt field, etc. How do you sort of explain that to the girls, and why have you succeeded in this environment?
Something that we created right away was a culture where we're not going to make excuses. The field that we have, I mean, it is what it is. So they know coming out playing in this, if they could trap, if they could play here, then when we get onto these pristine pitches, I mean, it's wonderful.
The hard work and dedication is all that matters. It really doesn't matter if you have a nice field or you have all this equipment, as long as you love for the sport.
I think it's really good to have a strong support system, not just with the soccer team. Obviously, it's us kind of small, but as a city, it's a larger scale, and it really felt the support of Cerritos behind us, making us want to contribute more and play harder on the field for them.
I think that's really important for these girls to know, that there is support from community leaders, from residents in Cerritos. This is probably the first time that they've ever traveled out of state, so just that experience alone will help build their self-confidence. I'm always about building self-confidence in young women, and like I said, the leadership skills that they'll take away with this will take them even further in college or even in their career at some point.
Honestly, it's kind of opened up a lot of opportunities with me as far as college, and I've kind of got to learn a lot more who I am and stuff. It's created kind of a bond with the teammates, and we're kind of a big family. If I need anything, I can reach out to anybody on the team, and it's provided me with leadership opportunities and time management. It just grown me a lot as a person.
It already is helping me in the future with a lot of opportunities with colleges. A lot of colleges have reached out to me, and that's one of the big reasons why it's really amazing, because that's my number one thing, is becoming a D1 soccer player.
I want to stick with soccer. I want to be a professional soccer player, and I either want to be a soccer coach or an athletic trainer.
I don't plan on playing soccer in college, but I do plan on going to UCLA, hopefully, and then majoring in biology, and then hopefully going on to medical school and becoming a doctor. I think this team has just helped me learn what responsibility and teamwork is all about.
When I say they're really easy to coach, they're amazing. There's a lot of trust involved, and they just kind of pick up, and there's really no ego or attitude. So it's team. When you say team, this is the epitome of a team.
Yeah, besides team, the key word there, family. You better believe it. All right, everybody, stay right where you are, because still to come, it's time for studs and duds in college football, including perhaps the greatest punt of all time. Of all time. Stick around for that and more when we come back on Sports Central.
Charged Up, sponsored by Action Ion Charged Alkaline Water.
It's amazing. LAFC wins their very first ever MLS Cup, beating Philadelphia in penalty kicks 3-0. Backup keeper John McCarthy named the most valuable player after coming on in extra time and making 2 saves in penalties.
It's couldn't happen to a better guy. John is one of the heartbeats of this team, emotionally. And we know what he can do in penalties. We've seen it. We train them. We trained for these moments. And John came up big. Like I said, it couldn't happen to a better guy. I'm extremely happy for him and for everybody at LAFC.
Absolutely amazing. And for more on today's game, we sent out Terry Fatal out to Bank of California Stadium. And I bet you're thankful that you went there, aren't you, buddy?
Yes, sorry. Guys, it's chaos here down at Bank of California. LAFC gets to its first MLS Cup title final, and they win it in dramatic fashion. It's bedlam here down in LA, but I caught up with the LAFC player, Sebastian. He was new to the team. A great, advantageous game today. Let's see what he had to say.
Just kind of a surreal moment. I mean, yeah, Gareth, 128th minute, dunks on Elliott, equalizes it, and then just John stepping up. That's kind of what the team's been all this year is everyone's always ready to step up and make a difference. And that was the epitome of it. John steps up, makes 2 big saves in the penalty shootouts to win us the cup, and that's kind of what a team runs on. And I couldn't be happier for him and the rest of the guys and everyone.
Can you talk about the atmosphere tonight specifically? Listen, it's different. I know you played at your home stadium, but it's an MLS event, the MLS Cup. Can you talk about that a little bit?
It felt the same.
Okay.
You know, I'm not going to lie. We always have a 32-52. We have our fans who always try to make it as difficult as possible for opposing teams, and it was the exact same. It felt the same to me. Yeah, I mean, I can't really touch on anything else. I think it felt the same, and they had our backs the whole time.
I'm alongside Mahalo Obogu. Hey, man, a great atmosphere today. Talk about the atmosphere and lifting that trophy.
It's really amazing, incredible feeling. Like, as you can see, it's chaos here. Everybody's so happy. Everybody's so excited. And the fight the boys put it in. And we, at the end of the game, we are the champions day. It's really amazing feeling. Fantastic.
Talk about John McCarthy. Up and down roller coaster. Goalkeeper goes out. John McCarthy comes in, 2 penalty saves. Talk about his performance today.
It's fantastic performance from John, and he's been working hard from training, and today he's showing it for everybody, and it's really amazing. John take the day. He carried the day. He's the man of the day. You know, I love John.
LAFC are champions. Thank you so much. Back to you guys.
All right, Tarek, thank you very much. That's absolutely incredible. And when you see all those players wearing goggles, you know what that means.
Champagne showers, Jim. Ain't nothing like them champagne showers. It wipes away all the sorrows and everything that you've been going through all season, let you know that you have won and you're the champs.
You better believe it. All right, now it's time for our studs and duds. You're really going to like this. That is for sure coming up right here. How about this? A stud for Georgia, who took care of business today against #1 Tennessee, thanks to plays like this one. Some are calling this one of the greatest punts ever from Bulldogs punter Brett Thorson. It ends up going 75 yards and perfectly angled and down at the 1-yard line.
That's why the returners got to catch those punts, man. Great job by that punter right there, dropping it inside the 5-yard line. You get paid big bucks to put it in there.
And the pros can hardly wait.
Oh, no, they chomping at the bit right now. They chomping at the bit right now. If you can do that a couple more times in the season, he's good to go.
How much of an emotional lift is a play like that?
That's huge. Trying to get the ball out of the 2-yard line. I think that the Volunteers have a rough time coming out of there. I think they fumbled or something like that around that area. So putting their backs against the wall, their own 2-yard line, is a huge field swap.
Okay, let's go to the other end of this. Here's a dud courtesy of Stanford. Not a great season for the Cardinals, which got worse today. Up on the farm, they gave up 42 points to just the first half alone against Washington State. Stanford now 1-6 in Pac-12 competition. I know you don't have much sympathy for them.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, man, I've never seen, Stanford look this bad, giving up 42 points in the first half. That's not their style of football. I hope they get back into it, and I hope Washington State just really that good. We got to see.
And because in the past they've been more disciplined than what they showed today.
Absolutely. Like I said, putting up 42 points in the first half, that's unheard of for Stanford football. So we see how that goes.
Okay, how about a double stud here? First for Tulane, who's now 8-1 after its victory over Tulsa today. They also got 157 yards rushing and a touchdown from running back Tajay Spears as the Green Wave are off to their best start since going undefeated in 1999. Stafon?
That's a long time, man, but it's a great win for Tulane. It's a great tradition, with back then, and for them to win that game against Tulsa 27-13, and that running back did a heck of a job putting the team on his back.
And one of the things you can say about them is to compliment them and salute them is they never stop trying.
They never stop trying. Now, you can, since 1998, that's a lot of trying, and I'm glad that coach is starting to get that program back on the swing of things. They number 19 in the country. That's a huge for them.
So there'll be a lot of celebrating this evening?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Most definitely, especially in New Orleans.
You better believe it. That's going to do it for this edition, my friends, of Sports Central Saturday. I'm Jim Hill saying thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on CBS 2. So long, everybody.